Question 15. Is there hope for neighbor love to save our world? I named this course Neighbor Love, a revolutionary idea that could save our world. But in the end, is there really hope that neighbor love could save the world? First, in some ways, this question is like the question, who is my neighbor? It assumes that hope is something outside of us, to be found or to be found wanting, rather than something to embody and perform as living witnesses for others. Jesus took the question, who is my neighbor, and turned it into the question, are you a neighbor? So perhaps we could take the question, is there hope for neighbor love to save the world, and turn it into the question, are we living as lovers and witnesses of hope for our world? Something that I've loved about preparing and teaching this course is that it's felt like an oxygen mask of hope as we've looked at each person and their vision of neighbor love. Where there is hope, there is love, because love gives life, and life depends on the possibility of new beginnings. So as we take up the calling to love our neighbors as ourselves, we not only find hope, but we make hope, and a new future becomes possible. Second, the concrete data indicates that dedicated neighbor love is actually improving our world. In the last few centuries, poverty has dramatically fallen. Basic health and life expectancy have skyrocketed. Many disastrous diseases have been eradicated, cured, or contained. Access to education and opportunities for learning are at unprecedented levels. Laws have been passed to protect the dignity of women, children, and the marginalized in most societies. Gary Anderson wrote that if we got on an airplane and flew over European cities after the birth of Christianity, we'd find a whole new landscape with hospitals and orphanages and schools and other centers serving human life. Thankfully, the journey of human flourishing continues to this day. But third, it would be dishonest and arrogant to tell a story of optimistic progress. Our world today is still filled with so much poverty, injustice, violent conflict, and human misery. We also face epidemics of loneliness, meaningless, despair, and suicide. The crisis of humanity we looked at in Lecture 1 very much continues to this day. In the beginning and in the end, Christians believe that only God can ultimately save the world. In fact, we believe that the faithfulness of God's love for every neighbor far exceeds anything that any human could hope or imagine. Human love is a faint flicker of the fire of God's love, which promises to make all things new. If Jesus, the Son of God, could hang dying on the cross and still cry out, "Father, forgive them," we believe there is hope for forgiveness and resurrection life that can overcome evil with good and despair with hope. Again and again, the call of the Christian life is not only to believe in that hope, but to embody that hope in the way we live with others. And that is the call to love our neighbors as ourselves, without exclusion, now and always.